And the finalists are...
We recognise those individuals. I got the envelope.
And the winner is...
And the winner is...
And the winner is...
And the Esports award goes to...
We're at the tippity top of the mountain, but we're really only halfway up.
Hello and welcome to the 4th Esports Awards Spotlight Show of 2020. I'm Gabriella La Tigris Devia Allen, and after our show yesterday, trust me, the Esports Awards are well underway. Now, if you need a recap on what went down during the previous show, we unveiled the finalists for the Industry Awards, as well as the extremely strong response since our show prior, as you've casted over 1 million. That is right. 1 million votes to date. And I must say, I'm extremely impressed with that news. Now, today is a special show and a first for the Esports Awards at that, because the community took the reins. And as a result, in 2020, we have our first spotlight show dedicated to the Creative Awards, which includes awards such as Esports Photographer of the Year, Esports Content Series of the Year, Esports Creative/Creative Team of the Year, and more. Now, joining me today on the show once more, I've got Tom F. Battinger. You're here again. Always love to have you by my side, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, hanging out, hanging in, doing the whole thing, and just esports, and I'm chilling.
Esports and chilling. You were there when we actually revealed some of these categories for the first time, things like Content Series of the Year. How excited are you for finding out who the finalists are finally going to be?
I mean, this is what we're here for. This is what we do. I'm happy to be here, and I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go too. So with that, let me take care of that little business once again, everybody. It is time to roll the intro.
Gold. You shine like gold. Shine like gold. Shine like gold.
Coming up on tonight's show, we announced the finalists for the Creative Awards 2020. 2019 Esports Cosplayer of the Year Little Gem drops by, and the second Lifetime Achievement in Esports Award inductee is announced. F.Dot's back. We're so ready to dive into some creative awards. But F.Dot, you were here with me yesterday. We went over the industry awards. What do you make of the fact that now we have more things for people to vote on and the turnout has been pretty insane?
I think it's really cool. First of all, shout out to my man Lawler pulling up and getting involved with us yesterday. But it's back to the gruesome twosome here. So talking about it, Gabby, I mean, these are categories where I am absolutely the fan. I get to interact and be a commentator and talk to players, and even with the stuff outside of the lines, I'm taught, like, you've got an agency. But when it comes to like videography and photography, I love this stuff. But man, can I not do it? So I'm purely a fan, and I like to see these categories kind of come forward, and I want to see more people kind of get involved. So I'm here for it. This stuff is awesome.
See, I'm a little bit on the other end where it's like, I went to school for this stuff. I love it. I wish I had more time to do it myself, but it makes me that much more appreciative of the people that are up for these awards, which is kind of feels bad when you can only nominate so many people. How difficult do you find it to do so, especially when you work in the industry and you start to really get to know the actual effort that went into a lot of these award categories?
Yeah, you start to really see not only that. I think it's hard, working in the industry and knowing a person behind each of these names. That can be kind of tough here or there. I actually just recently I got a fancy camera because we're all stuck at home, and I tried to take some shots, and I've done some of this, and like you said, discovering the difficulties. I tried to put together some video pieces and some photography pieces. I'm very, very proud of the absolutely amateur work that I did and took hours, if not days, to do. So I can only imagine, the type of effort and I've seen it that goes into some of the longer stuff. So this is these people are absolutely deserving of their own category world for sure.
I poke fun at you, but I also know that you won't say it yourself. I want to say good job in learning these skills. They are things that a lot of people have to pick up within industry, but it is great to be able to see kind of this where it all comes together. So if you're looking at specific characteristics when putting forth nominees for the creative awards, are there any particular ones that stand out in your mind as a necessity for someone to call themselves a finalist?
I mean that's definitely, I think that's category specific, and I'll be better equipped to give you an answer per category. But I think the thing that kind of ties it all together is that je ne sais quoi, that X factor, that I can't quite put my finger on it, but you know it when you see it type art. Like there's something I always bring up. My man Bart once said, everybody needs the soft focus esports documentary, and the rack shots up top, and when you can step beyond the trope and really make something that speaks for itself. I think that's when you enter this world of these categories and these awards, and everyone here on this list has absolutely done that. So, it's one of those.
Ain't that the truth? We would like to once again thank our partners for 2020, without which the Esports Awards would not be possible. Arlington.org, Scuff Gaming, Esports Stadium Arlington, The Koyo Store, Sizzle Creative, Touch of Ginger, Grind Gaming, eFuse, CGI Live. We're diving right into the nitty-gritty of the creative minds that keep esports at the forefront of the visual for the audience. And I must say, photography that comes from these is some of my favorite pieces.
The finalists for Esports Photographer of the Year are Rich Locke, Mikhail Konkol, Eric Ananmale, Peter Chow, Logan Dodson, Helena Christensen, Kyle Miller, Nuno Miranda, Stephanie Lindgren, Katie Iyer, Chris Ott, Radislaw Makuk,
When it comes to photography, how much do you think that adds to just really communicating what esports brings to the rest of the world?
I mean, it's huge, Gabby. It's a giant part of esports. I talk a lot about, getting beyond the avatar, right? I don't really care who Sage is. I want to know who the Sage player is on the team. And obviously we have wonderful things like streams and stuff, but being able to artistically capture the essence of players is something that everybody thinks they can pick up a camera and just hit the button, but that's not how it works. Capturing a moment in time while still preserving the human element and the energy of everything there is such a big deal and such an important part of what we do, and to bring up a couple of names on the list, Rich Locke is a guy that is able to, when I see his pictures, I feel the the energy of the arena. It's so incredibly difficult to grab. And Stephanie Lindgren is somebody who I've really enjoyed her work, just scrolling through the timeline. Just like I said, at the end of the day, being able to capture a moment, preserve the beauty, and show the human side of esports is a very important part of what we do, and tough. So, hats off to those that absolutely kind of do it.
One of the things continually addressed when it comes to a lot of these esports awards is how the current world climate affects things, being in quarantine. For instance, one of my favorite things before was looking at event photos afterwards, maybe hitting save on those future potential profile pictures. But what do you make of the fact that a lot of these photographers are still putting work out there, but have in some cases had to shift, whether it be focusing on products or any other type of photography environment?
Well, I will say, whatever photographers I've worked with don't have to be mad at me about posting like unedited JPEGs anymore, because they're not out there. Next year we'll get back to being yelled at. But real talk, I mean, we've seen some photographers kind of pivot, like you said, looking at product shots. 100 Thieves has really kind of revolutionized the way they sell merch, and so they have a real cool aesthetic to go with it. Shout outs to everybody, that on the photography side of that. Post-production is an art in and of itself. We've seen some photographers kind of pivot in that world. But also, I want to give a sincere shout out to those that haven't found a way to pivot as well. This is a hurdle that the entire world is trying to get over, and just from one artist to another, like, I feel that. So it is what it is, and we are where we are, but life goes on, and I think these photographers have absolutely helped us do that. Keep on keeping on.
So many artists that you can go and check the work of. And I encourage you to do so for our finalists here, because at esportsawards.com, you can go ahead and cast your vote for who you think should be taking away the award in total. Now, our next award is a first for the Esports Awards, new to us in 2020, and that is Esports Content Team of the Year, telling the stories behind the scenes of esports.
The finalists for Esports Content Team of the Year are 100 Thieves, G2, 1UP Studios, Complexity, NRG, FaZe Clan, Cloud9, LEC, United.
When it comes to esports, the talk of content has just grown stronger and stronger, and we look to these teams to bring it forward. What do you weigh in when it comes to the importance of having people putting forth this content outside of necessarily what is traditionally kind of the skeleton of a broadcast?
Now, I mean, take everything I said about photographers and extrapolate it here as well. I've got the opportunity to kind of be a part of a content team like this when I was rocking around with the Smite world. They kind of blend their lines. But if you want me to pull out the like marketing, the deck lingo I do when I charge consulting, it's continuing the conversation. Right? Like, the game only goes so long. You've got to be able to continue that conversation beyond it. You've got to be able to say, have either post-game, pre-game, and then like we see some of the more creative stuff come out behind the scenes, look at NFL Hard Knocks all the way back in the day, look at NBA Open Court, and then look at the esports adaptations of those ideas. It's so incredibly important because, again, it is not just a game. We all love the beauty of the game on the field for sure, but it's about the culture, it's about the people, it's about the human element. And these are the ones these are the people that tie it all together essentially and give us something to consume.
Yeah, and it's a very good point that you bring up there as far as like continuing the story. And it wasn't that long ago that it felt like when it comes to bringing content forward, we're looking at maybe players to stream or put out YouTube. Now we have these entire teams, whether it's the organizations themselves, you look at 100 Thieves, G2 and others on this list, or entire broadcast teams, LEC being nominated here, not just for the broadcast, but a lot of the other work they do as well. How much do you think that plays a role? The fact that there are so many different types of avenues and teams that try and tackle this storytelling aspect nowadays.
I mean, it's sick. This is what I talk about this again. I get really like eye rolly and faux philosophical, so feel free to like make fun of me. But this is the democracy of the internet. You know, you can Justin Bieber literally uploaded YouTube videos until somebody found him. Right, Usher clicked on the right YouTube video and bang, you know, he's a believer. And that's what we're talking about when it comes to esports. Like if you and your friends, your squad of 6 friends in film school, want to put together some documentary from home, you can do that, and you can contend with these people. When we look at One Up Studios and we look at what these individual sort of these individual outlets do, that's all it is. It's somebody's, you know, passion coming forward and enough eyes on it. All of a sudden you have a couple of sponsors and now you're doing it for a living. And when we talk about esports, it very much is a labor of love, a passion project, not in the sense that like, you know, we're all starving artists, but almost everybody involved, and probably looking at the success, everybody involved on this list leads with their heart deeply into the game scene, because if that's not what you're doing, that's not where your content's going to go. So it's awesome seeing how easy it is to kind of be involved, and then the level of quality that you can rise to, like everybody on this list.
A love and a level of quality shared by all of those nominated for Esports Content Team of the Year. A brand new category at that, so it is your first opportunity to cast your vote, but you can do so at esportsawards.com/vote. Our next category is for those that excel with the use of a glue gun and love bringing those characters that we all love to life. It's Esports Cosplay of the Year.
The finalists for Esports Cosplay of the Year are Little Gem, Fussrofren, Willow Creative, Sneaky, Glory Lamoth, Peyton Cosplay, Harfi, Lara Lenardi, Xenon Cosplay.
Cosplay is always one of those categories that I have mad respect for, would love to do, but have no idea if I could be up to par in any scale whatsoever.
I feel that. You know, I'm into fashion. I don't make any fashion. That's a big deal. One time I did judge a cosplay contest. It was like 2014, but that's besides the point. But no, luckily we do have some real folks. Little Gem is actually going to join us for an interview later, and that's a big deal. One of the cool things about cosplay, though, Gabby, is that, like, you know, we can't go to tournaments, but these cosplayers are still bringing games to life via their at-home photo shoots and stuff.
And I'm sure that all of the finalists in this award do this, but I mean, speaking from experience, when I'm looking for things to do in quarantine, like I follow Luna Lunardi on Insta, and I love seeing just these daily uploads, not just of final products, but kind of the steps along the way. It's really cool seeing the creative liberties everyone is taking and transitioning.
Yeah, there's a whole world behind, like, you know, behind the artwork of it all. And like I said, not exactly my area of expertise, which is why I'm glad we've got, you know, Gem joining us, and that's going to be a good show for sure.
Definitely agree with you on that one. And I'm sure this is one of the categories a lot of people love voting on, so don't miss out on your chance to do so. esportsawards.com/vote is the destination to do just that. But right now we are going to take a short break. As F. mentioned, we have Little Gem, your current cosplayer of the year, standing on by. You don't want to miss it.
Shine like gold.
Sometimes you just need a little wonderful in your life. So why not go to a place made for it? Arlington, Texas. It's a city made for fun and excitement and all the things you love to do. And even some things you didn't know you loved until you came here and found them. Come see for yourself why Arlington is a world of wonderful.
Faker, what was that? This is Rocket League!
Done that in the history of Dota.
Every great victory is a story, made up of a beginning, a middle, and an end. The Esports Awards are teaming up with eFuse to help tell more great stories. We're offering $10,000 for one lucky individual on the brink of greatness in esports. Your journey to making your mark on esports starts now. Whether you want to be a pro player, team manager, analyst, community leader, caster, or even a content creator, this fund is open to you, aspiring pro, and you, university applicant, even you, esports entrepreneur, definitely you, grassroots role model, also you, looking to build your first gaming PC. Yes, you, the 40-hour-a-week streamer, but not you, millionaire team owners. You've had enough. So what are you waiting for? Apply now on the Esports Awards website for your chance to take home $10,000.
And your winner.
Welcome back to the 4th Esports Awards Spotlight Show. We are joined now by your 2019 Esports Cosplayer of the Year, Little Gem. How's your day been going so far?
Been really good. As good as it can be in this time that we're in right now. But yeah, it's been nice hanging out with my dogs. How's your day been?
It's been great so far. Even better now that we're graced by your presence. Speaking of which, I have heard from a little birdie that you have actually attended every Esports Awards show since its inception.
I have. It's crazy. Like, these years have completely flown by, but it's amazing how much progress and how much bigger we've got, myself and Esports Awards. And looking back at when we first started, it's such a big difference. Right?
I feel that, I've been working with Esports Awards for a couple of years now, and we work outside of Esports Awards, and then you kind of come in once a year, so it's kind of like almost measuring yourself at home, and going, oh, I've grown this much, and you can kind of see how much we've grown individually as well as the award. It's fun coming back year after year for sure. I feel that.
And that's one of those things where we all get to track our own growth internally, but you, on the other hand, have a physical representation of your growth over time, walking away with the award for this category last year. How great did it feel to have your talent recognized?
It was amazing, honestly. I really, truly did not expect that award would be handed to me. I originally went out thinking that it was literally just because I'd been there every single year and it would have been a shame if I missed it. But when the camera actually came over, it was a crazy moment because I thought he was filming me just because I was the only cosplayer there. And I literally whispered to my friend who came with me, oh, it's pretty mean. They're filming me lose this award. And then when he said my name, I was just a few seconds of just, no, that's not real. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go on stage. So yeah, it was amazing. It's still amazing. I have it very proudly up in my cabinet in my front room.
Yeah, it's a big moment for sure, especially when Esports Awards, it's part fan, part industry, so you kind of know you've rang both bells. We were talking earlier about how different this year is to other years for a myriad of different reasons, right? But when it comes down to it, you do what I do, right? We go to a live event with a lot of people and we work off of the energy. And this year that's a little different. How do you stay motivated in the year 2020 when it comes to your cosplay?
Oh gosh. To be honest, this is something that I have sort of ping-ponged around battling. I'd be lying if I said it's been always super easy, but I think the main thing is I've actually used cosplay as a coping mechanism throughout normal life struggles, which is kind of why I got so addicted to it. And I think it still continues to do that for me. I find the stressful parts of cosplay and the tedious parts of cosplay really therapeutic. And I know that makes me really weird, but it's the truth. So yeah, I've just been continuing to do that really. And that's how I use it as my motivation, because it's kind of my motivation to stay sane.
Yeah, there is no ease when it comes to cosplay as an art, as you have displayed with a lot of your work. You mentioned the fact that some of those tedious moments are some of the things you like most. But what would you say is your favorite cosplay that you have created and or the most difficult to make, whether those are one and the same or not?
Oh gosh, my favorite to make. Ooh, I find them all like super fun. So, for example, making my Vanellope cart. You might have seen it. It's like a cart that looks like a smashed up cake. And it's a Disney princess who drives it around, and she's got this total like badass like attitude, and it's super fun. But I made it, and I was like, hey, I have 2 weeks to make this, and I was saying to my friends, am I going to be able to do it? And I looked at it, and I was like, it's literally a smashed cake. Of course I can make it. Like even if it looked messy, it's supposed to. But that was super fun. But my hardest and also most beloved costume has to be Toothless, because I had to change one person into a 5 meter long dragon, and that was truly awesome because I didn't think I could do it. It was always like a dream cosplay that I would just have on the back burner, and then suddenly I was like, I'm just gonna do it, and then yeah, I did.
That card that you're talking about, is that the one I was looking at your Twitter earlier? Is that the one you have pinned up top?
Oh yeah, loud and proud.
I
all the
love
way
it.
down to London.
I love it. I'm here for it. That's the type of stuff. Like I always talk about cosplay, like, you know, extending our world, you know, and that's absolutely it. I thought that was awesome. So just 10 points for me, straight up.
I actually had like 50 Spider-Men. I'm not kidding you. 50 Spider-Men chased me and clapped me when I got to Comic-Con. It was the weirdest thing. Like, you think getting an award is like crazy to me. That actually happened as well. And they're like hand in hand for me, both crazy.
That's an interesting world too, that cosplay that's unique to cosplay. Casters, players, teams, etc. We don't get those interactions where like you're in cosplay as a character and you see another character in cosplay and you have these unique kind of like, you know, moments. Do you have a moment like that besides the Spider-Man one that really comes to mind? Those are fun.
Oh gosh. I mean, we get such a range of different personalities, types of people, and reactions. Like, I have kids, you know, that will come up and they'll generally think my Toothless is real, and they don't want to say goodbye because they know that they might not see Toothless again, and I have to keep that completely in like character. But it's so rewarding. And then, of course, you get all these amazing players and other people that are exactly like me that come up to you and they display how much like you could have influenced their artistic side, or you're being a character that they love seeing in their game. And when I go to esports events, especially, like the community just really sort of welcomes you, and it truly is really nice to be sort of celebrating over a character you both love. It's really cool.
While some of the characters that people draw from are sometimes from other forms of art, I mean, it's deeply rooted within the gaming scene, right? Is there a particular game that inspired you to want to pursue this craft?
Yeah, actually, League of Legends, and I've always said this loud and proud, has been the reason I actually started cosplay. I played League of Legends. I previously mentioned how I liked stressful and tedious things. Well, when I first started League of Legends, I wasn't very good, so I found it a little tedious. But I started getting actually a lot better, and I just loved it. And I got so addicted. I play it all the way through my master's in university, and yeah, it was like it was the way I sort of really stressed. But then I just started really loving the character designs. I was like, I'm going to make that. And it sort of started off as like kind of like a Halloween thing. And then I was like, oh, there's going to be like League of Legends players at this convention, so I'm going to go there. And then I was like, I'm going to wear that costume I made. So that's how it started, really.
That's fun, like real organic. Yeah, I mean that's community. You know, that's why we're all here, right? And so with that in mind, you know, there's a lot of, you know, obviously you're up for the award one more time. There's a lot of people that are out there doing the same thing. Who do you look at? Who are your favorite cosplay superstars besides yourself, because you're number one, right? But besides yourself, who's your favorites in the scene?
I know, honestly, there hasn't been a single person that I haven't met or seen online that I haven't been inspired by. And I know that sounds sort of like what a lot of people say, but that's because it's true. There are many people that I have looked up to for ages. Like, a few names might be like Jessica Nigri, Kimpatsu, Willow Cosplays. Recently been doing some super amazing work. Well, not recently, but she's really been getting noticed by a lot of people. She deserves it. And there are just endless amounts of people that I constantly see online, and I'm like, wow, I want to make it like that, or this is so cool, I want to share this. And yeah, it's endless, really. Honestly, anyone and everyone I've noticed of all different kinds of backgrounds are producing what their version of art, and it's awesome.
You mentioned all of these cosplay artists that you look up to, but the reality is, having taken away this award yourself, a lot are looking up to you at this point. Do you have any advice for anyone that is aspiring to grab an esports award for themselves or get started in cosplay as deeply as you have?
Oh gosh, I would say definitely start. If you're starting as a new cosplayer, start with something you really love, because when you make it, you have this really awesome feeling of being proud to show off the character that you love, and also having the momentum to sort of actually get the costume done because you do love the character. And for anyone who's been cosplaying for a while, definitely just keep making it. Keep making silly things as well. I feel like people forget how fun cosplay can be, and I think once you start doing silly costumes or like sort of derpy cosplays, that's when you sort of remember how much fun it really is. And they're the ones that get you noticed as well, because you're having so much fun.
That's something that I can absolutely reverberate, across all disciplines, whatever you're doing, whether it's cosplay, casting, or otherwise. If you're having fun, we will see it. Every artist will agree. If you're having fun, you truly love what you do, it will come out in the product. So, I got to double down on that. That is, from one artist to another. I totally agree with that, Jem. Thank you so much for nailing that.
You're welcome.
And of course, you mentioned the trophies before. How do you proudly display the Esports Award trophy? Do you show it off to friends when they come to visit?
I have like a mix. I feel like I try to stay humble. Obviously, I'm super proud, but I did buy a massive cabinet that has glass windows, and it's right in the middle. And then I've got some other awards on the smaller sides, but this one's right in the middle. So, and then also it's kind of like an eyesore actually. So it kind of forces conversation. Maybe I did that on purpose, but I didn't really think about it. But it's there now, so everyone talks about it when they come in.
Hey, you want to see an eyesore? I would show you my attempts at cosplay in Nidalee Sphere falling apart somewhere in this apartment. That's what you call an eyesore. But everything that we've seen from you is absolutely beautiful. Little Jem, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
You're welcome. It was lovely having you guys.
Everybody, coming up after the break, we will reveal the rest of the creative awards, and you do not want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Shine like gold.
The finalists for Esports Creative Piece of the Year are Fionn and Fire, Faker Piece, 100 Thieves, Uno Tournament, True Sight, Dota 2, Team Liquid Marvel Collaboration, Tree Quest / Sequest, Fly Quest, League of Legends Cinematic Season Opening, FaZe Clan Announcement, Control, Chasing the Dream, G2.
As I hear the names and titles of every single finalist here, it's almost like reliving the moments of consuming these pieces of content, which is just a big doozy in my brain right now, if not.
Yeah, I mean, these are all these are the heavy hitters. This is my world. You know, I like long form stuff. I always go right back to like Mina Kimes, traditional sports reporter. She did a big cover for Faker in ESPN the magazine. That was one of the first times we ever hit kind of mainstream. And Fion's long form Faker piece this year really brought me back there. And I just like long form. Give me more long form journalism. So I'm definitely there for what Fion did.
And you have to give props to Fion too, being one of the advocates to bring this as a category within the Esports Awards. It's constantly evolving. We're maximizing the finalists that are here, and for good use, because a lot of these nominations, or finalists rather, are extremely impressive. I literally have a screenshot of the LOL Cinematic Season Opening as my background now, which has been that way since that released earlier this year. And then FlyQuest, TreeQuest, Sequest, an amazing rebrand that they went through, integrating charity with it as well, and plenty of puns that you've allowed us to tap into on the LCS broadcast. So I got to give a shout out for that as well.
You listen, you can keep the puns. I'm not here for that. Okay. I finally escaped my co-commentator stacks. I don't need more puns on non-broadcasts, but FlyQuest is, and this category is interesting because what is FlyQuest? It's a marketing strategy, it's a brand identity. Like, how do you box that and kind of like say this is a thing? But clearly it's a thing. It is so incredibly cool. Like, yes, we're doing good things, we love Mother Earth and all that stuff, but I just like the whole marketing tie together, like planetary per kill, awesome. And the whole like I said, the brand unity, that cohesion, that speaks to me, and that's cool, and that is something, and it doesn't really fit everywhere. So shout outs to the category. I love what FlyQuest did. That's the stuff that really gets me going. I'm sorry, I'm getting really like out there about like brand management, but like I think that stuff is cool, so I'm here for it.
It is. It really is. And I think that's why the key is, creative piece, right?
Yeah.
So many different ways that people have brought this to the forefront. But everybody in the audience, go ahead and vote for your favorite creative piece in the running for Esports Creative Piece of the Year. esportsawards.com/vote is where you can do that. And we just talked about this one brand new award, and we do have another one up for you next. And that is Esports Creative/Creative Team of the Year Award, which allows us to recognize the behind the scenes delivering high quality designs, merchandise, and branding to help make those teams recognizable in the grand scheme of the industry.
The finalists for Esports Creative Team of the Year are Popcore, AOE Creative, Damian Estrada, Paper Crowns, Euler Araujo, Hugo Bonami, Sesso HQ, Roma Bib, Visuals by Impulse.
Another Creative Awards finalist list has been revealed. This one, a combination of individuals, some team-oriented. What are some of the finalists that stand out to you?
Again, a very interesting category we have here. A couple of different disciplines, if you will. Straight up, Sesso HQ, this guy, listen, a lot of people talk about the marriage of streetwear and esports, and I could put out my own 30-minute video on how important and exciting that is. And sure, it's a culture push. It's a lot of different elements. It's a lot of Sesso HQ is 100 Thieves designer, and he is absolutely one of the main driving forces between the marriages of these two cultures. And I'm super here for it. Like it's so much. It's so much fun to kind of watch that sort of thing unfold. He's been the brainchild behind it, and winds up being a very big part of our scene and in turn our culture. And then visuals by impulse. When I look at VBI, this is, I work behind the scenes consulting territory, and that's where VBI sort of comes up. This is full like brand awareness when you want to work from the top down and make everything cohesive. When you look at when you look at, not that VBI is behind these, but when you look at, Courage and Dr. Disrespect and what we were talking about with FlyQuest, with everything tied together, VBI executes that sort of thing perfect, really, really well. Perfect is tough, but really, really well. So, like I said, different disciplines, so different ways to come at this one, Gabby. But those are the two that speak to me right now.
It is another one of those categories that points more to those that elevate what we're used to seeing, even if we don't always realize who is behind it. When it comes to this category, having a mix of individuals, some that are team oriented, what kind of dynamic do you think that offers when you're looking at this from a voting perspective?
From a voting perspective, I think I just want to look at the export, because like I said, I am feel free to roll your eyes. I'm totally an artist here. And the collaborative process and the artistic process is different for everybody. I really like writing music with a whole group of people, and then I also really like writing music by myself. And I think when you're talking about like being able to export like a whole brand package, so to speak, it works out really well to have a team of people that can do all these different things of multiple disciplines and animation and graphic design and pulling it all together and user interface design, UX, blah blah blah. But sometimes if you're Cesso HQ or Roma Bib here, like you just want to lock yourself in your room, turn the lights off, and sit in your art cave. So from a voting perspective, there's 100 ways to skin a thief, right? And however you write the good song, I don't want to see how the sausage is made. I just want to, get it done.
Everyone has their own creative process, and it results in what you all see before you. Make sure you cast your vote for this category on esportsawards.com/vote. Up next, we do have another award here in 2020. This one recognizes the series that tell the story of esports from a perspective other than what we're used to.
The finalists for Esports Content Series of the Year are TSM Legends, G2 Voice Comms, The Hunt, Chicago Huntsman, The Heist, 100 Thieves, The Squad, Team Liquid, The Story of Score Esports, Through the Smoke, Complexity, Eavesdrop Podcast.
So many of the finalists for Esports Content Series of the Year are the type of pieces that fans wait to tune into week after week after week. This must be a really hard category to adjudicate.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, this is, again, I mentioned some of my favorite, like, trad media, when we look at NBA Open Court always comes to mind. And as esports matures, we get more and more of this. And we see a lot, we see some of the like hardcore, like focused documentaries. We see some more like loose around the edges, I mean, content series, listen, you and I are just fans of esports, and this is where we get to be those people, right? Is there anything on this list that you like actively fan out about?
Well, I mean, if I'm being honest, I tune into all of the weekly content produced specifically by LCS teams as well as others. So there are multiple nominees on this series list that definitely pop out to me. You've got The Heist, you've got TSM Legends, I mean, The Squad by Team Liquid. A lot of those really offer the insight that when you're trying to continue telling the stories on broadcast are extremely helpful. But from a fan perspective, it's a wonderful way to connect, because you just mentioned things like the NBA, and how much does getting to see that other perspective allow you to continue growing your love for the esports that you follow?
Yeah, it's huge. Again, I'm going to bring out my whole the marketing language, right? Continue the conversation. The game ends, and esports has this awesome world where the game ends, and then a little bit of travel time, and then your favorite player is streaming again. Awesome, but at the same time, although we have this like really hardcore access, and that's really awesome, I still like to dress it up a little bit, and I do want somebody like asking pointed questions to the player, and we get to see that, with respect to what all the LCS teams, the LEC teams do, and everything like 100 Thieves, the heist. Any heist that isn't Macklemore, I'm here for, so I'm down. But like Eavesdrop podcast is totally, that's my thing. Just sit a couple of people down, talk esports, blah, blah, blah. That's absolutely my world. So is the story. Score Esports kind of take in like the behind the scenes. You like that one too, huh?
Mm-hmm. I mean, they get stuff that's not just contemporary, but they'll take deep dives into old stories that if you weren't there for it, it's a great way to kind of catch up.
Oh man, I have so many like big plans like everybody does, but that's the stuff that I like. Listen, like you maybe you weren't there for 2010, the crazy run of some team that I don't have on the top of my head, right? Bam, you can be there with stuff like that. And I'm a Chicago Huntsman fan, so I gotta shout out the Hunt. Like I don't have anything important to say. I just really like that team, so let's go. I had to get it in there. Sorry, Gabby.
You do you. I mean, all the creative aspects that go into storytelling are important. Yes, we have things like streaming, but the curated series, as you see with the finalists in this category, are just as important. So who gripped you this year in the audience? What series sticks out in your mind? Make sure you cast your vote on esportsawards.com/vote. It's time for us to take a look at who captured the moments in esports, the successes, the failures, those who took us on the journey and told the stories from behind the scenes and showed us the insight of the people behind the athletes. It's time to find out who made the list of finalists for Esports Videographer of the Year.
The finalists for Esports Videographer of the Year are Sean Doe, Logan Dodson, Charles Dalton, Pete Nguyen, Cassidy Sanders, Para Akitos Anderson, Julian Ramirez, Tuomo Vakeva, Esteban Martinez, Caroline Parker Stark.
Like many other creative occupations, videography requires a lot more than people realize if they're not familiar with that type of industry work. F. How would you describe some of the extenuating circumstances or just the effort that has to be brought forward to reach a final status in this kind of category?
I mean, when you're talking videography, there's a lot that goes into it, more than just being a CO, a camera operator, right? You got to have it's post-production. There's all these elements. There's just so much that goes into it. And I mean, specifically now, I mean, Complexity's Sean Doe, he's living in London. He's 6,000 miles away from home, right? They're again, we're all jumping over these hurdles together. And as we continue to try and put out the best art, you got to make some sacrifices. And Sean eating British food is absolutely one of those sacrifices. No beans on toast for me.
No beans, no toast for F-Dub. But sometimes when you're a videographer and you're trying to get the work done, you ain't got a choice in what you have access to. But one of the things that you do have a choice in is your creative eye and how that adds in communicating what it is that the videography work is trying to get to the audience. How much do you value in that, and what perspective they offer in trying to connect the audience to esports?
Again, I gotta plug the fact that I'm an annoying artist, right? Like literally went to a high school of the arts. So when it comes to like finding that, how much do I value the like artistic lens? Like more than you would like me to, in all honesty. It's something that you don't get until you get it. Like you jump down there with the camera and you find these moments and you find these angles that really capture these ideas. And just to put give you a really simple thing, like if you shoot from the ground up, right? Like a lot of times you see these trophy shots where they like sweep around and they come from the ground up. It makes the people look larger than life, and it makes the event feel so big. And then if you shoot from the top down, you can get this feeling of almost how small everything is in comparison to the larger world. And though you can take the same shot of a trophy lift and you get down on your on your hands and knees and kind of shoot from one angle to make these players seem like Goliaths, or you can take the opposite approach and make it just seem like a blip on the radar in the world of all these fans. And that, being able to take the same moment and transfer, that's what we're talking about here. And these people have absolutely grabbed that sort of mentality and are able to do it.
That's the thing. It's all about that nuanced decision making when bringing all of this to the vision you see before you. Who gripped you the most with their work? Go ahead and vote at esportsawards.com/vote.
Shine like gold. What was that? This is Rocket League!
Done that in the history of Dota!
Every great victory is a story, made up of a beginning, a middle, and an end. The Esports Awards are teaming up with eFuse to help tell more great stories. We're offering $10,000 for one lucky individual on the brink of greatness in esports. Your journey to making your mark on esports starts now. Whether you want to be a pro player, team manager, analyst, community leader, caster, or even a content creator, this fund is open to you, aspiring pro, and you, university applicant, even you, esports entrepreneur, definitely you, grassroots role model, also you, looking to build your first gaming PC. Yes, you, the 40-hour-a-week streamer, but not you, millionaire team owners. You've had enough. So what are you waiting for? Apply now on the Esports Awards website for your chance to take home $10,000.
And your winner.
Sometimes you just need a little wonderful in your life. So why not go to a place made for it? Arlington, Texas. It's a city made for fun and excitement and all the things you love to do. And even some things you didn't know you loved until you came here and found them. Come see for yourself why Arlington is a world of wonderful.
Shine like
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm here with Chris Swag Lamberson, one of the most decorated players in the Call of Duty scene, an Esports Award finalist for Streamer of the Year, and the most recent addition to the world-renowned FaZe clan, bringing his high-key gameplay for some much-watch content. Swag, how you doing today?
Good, yeah. Thank you, Gabby, for having me on. Feeling good, yeah. Ready to get to this interview, and it's been really busy, but I'm excited and honored to be nominated for Streamer of the Year.
You have so many things going on in your life, and now a finalist for the Esports Award for Streamer of the Year. Did you expect to be on this list?
Definitely not. If you told me a year ago when I wasn't even streaming at the time that I would be nominated for Streamer of the Year, and just a couple weeks ago peaking at like 75,000 viewers, I would have told you you're crazy. You know what I mean? So it's a blessing to be here, and I'm honored to be a part of such a crazy group. I mean, the list of nominees have been doing this for years. I mean, years, and they've been big for a really long time. So just to be a part of that list is it's a blessing.
It's very fair to say that everybody on this list have brought unique content to the forefront, and you're on this list as well means that you are also under that category. And speaking of which, one of the things that we got to tune into recently that was unique was you hosted a Warzone tournament, the Swag Summer Warzone Invitational, and we got to see you alongside talent such as Nick Merckx, Nadeshot, so many people involved. What was that experience like for you, and can we expect to see more tournaments like this from you in the future?
Yeah, for me, because I've been playing Call of Duty for so many years, and for them to approach and ask me to host a tournament, I think it was a testament to all the hard work that I put in over the years, and I think it was so cool that the game that I played and I loved the most that got me addicted had me host a tournament. And it was cool. And I definitely hope it went well. Hopefully they were satisfied with the tournament. And I definitely want to host more in the future and maybe some qualifiers for some of the smaller streamers as well. But yeah, hopefully we have more tournaments.
I think a lot of people were satisfied, the audience, and you do have a big following, a lot of people that support you. And after becoming a finalist for Streamer of the Year, they continue to do so all across social media, believing that you have what it takes. But I want to know, do you believe you have what it takes to go home as a winner of Streamer of the Year?
I think I do personally, because just like I said, a year ago, I wasn't streaming at all. Like I didn't even have a Twitch following. I wasn't streaming. I was literally strictly just making videos. And then I think last year of November is when I started streaming daily consistently. And like I said, to be at a point where I have almost 800,000 followers in over a year, to be at a point where I peaked at 75,000, where I can hold 20K concurrent, I think the come up is just I don't know. I just feel like I definitely can. But like I said, it's going to be tough because the people on this list are just some mega superstars. But it's an honor to be a part of it.
You mentioned how much has changed within this past year, and I think a lot of the people that are successful in this industry say how the work actually started many years beforehand, and as did your passion for Call of Duty. But I'm curious to know, is there any other game or title that brought you into the world of streaming and content creation, or has it always been COD?
If I'm gonna be honest, no, before I ever got into Call of Duty, I was a casual gamer. So think of like a person who like goes to a friend's house and plays GTA. I was that guy. So I didn't really play or anything like that. I mainly uploaded to YouTube off the start to show off to my friends, to prove that I was good at Call of Duty, because they wouldn't believe me when I would tell them that I would get these good gameplays. But then it kind of just spiraled into this thing where I just started uploading, and it just over the years it just morphed into something just I never thought it would be.
I mean, that's how it starts, right? You're first showing off for your friends, then you're showing off for the world, and then the world becomes your oyster.
Yup.
But there is one very important question I've got to ask you. You've been playing Call of Duty for a long time, so I got to know which one's your favorite, man.
My favorite Call of Duty of all time. A lot of people, for them, it's always their first. So my first is definitely, I think it's a tie between me. I have Modern Warfare 3. That was my first ever Call of Duty that I played. And then I would have to say, Black Ops 3. I think Black Ops 3 was a game I played night and day with friends. I would make content during the day. I played competitive at night. It was just a 24/7 thing. So I think those two Call of Duties are my favorite.
I'm going to have to pop in your chat next time and see if your community agrees with you on that one.
Oh, man, they don't. They definitely don't. They definitely don't. No, they hate, because I don't say Modern Warfare 2 is like the biggest, like, oh, how could you not? That wasn't your favorite. I'm like, I never played it. So, but yeah. No.
I feel you, though, right? We always have nostalgia and different emotions when we're talking about certain games. So I always find that really hard, too, when trying to classify my favorites. One of the things, though, that has transformed you from the casual gamer, as you self-describe, to a true professional is joining FaZe Clan, one of the most renowned, as we mentioned before, organizations within esports, and specifically a large legacy within Call of Duty as well. What has this experience been like for you since joining up?
Awesome. Like you said, the legacy there is just crazy. I mean, I remember when I was playing Call of Duty early on and hearing about FaZe and what they were doing in Black Ops 2. And so just to be a part of it has been amazing. They've been helping me in expanding my brand and just doing a lot of things outside of gaming as well to kind of bring out more of my personality, not just on camera when I'm streaming, but outside of it as well. So I think it's been awesome, and I can't wait to just work with them more in the future. We got the merch coming up, the merch launch here soon. So I'm just really excited.
So much of being a content creator nowadays isn't just the gameplay, it's the personality surrounding it. I'm sure gaming takes a large portion of your day, but we are in quarantine, a bit more time on our hands. What are you doing outside of the world of gaming to keep yourself busy?
Okay, so pre-quarantine, I would always, like, the movies were a big thing for me. I had a weekly pass to the movie theater, so I'd go every week, whatever was showing, if it was good, bad. Didn't matter. I just love having the popcorn soda and just watching a movie. But since quarantine now, I basically just I try to work out a lot, try to eat better. But like I said, there isn't much to do during quarantine, so I just play video games all day basically and watch Netflix. That's the big thing too.
But there is one final question I have to ask you, something everybody has to consider. I know you have taken a humble approach, saying there are a lot of deserving people on this list to win the award, but you're on the list too, which means you're deserving as well. In the scenario where you do walk away with the win for Streamer of the Year, what is the first thing you're going to do to celebrate?
Man, so if I win on that day, I'll probably take my whole family, all my cousins out to a steak dinner, come back, probably stream all night, just celebrate, play with my friends who I've been playing with since beginning of my streaming career. So probably give away like 20 scuff controllers or something. It would be a dope stream though. Yeah, that's probably the way I would celebrate it for sure.
I'm sure everyone would be really appreciative of that. And I appreciate you taking the time to stop by for this interview.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Gabby, thank you for having me.
Now, everyone, we are going to go to a short break, but when we return, we'll have more of our Esports Awards Spotlight show. Stay tuned.
Shine like gold.
Last night, we revealed Daigo Umehara as our first entrant to the Lifetime Achievement in Esports class of 2020. Tonight, we reveal our second inductee.
Jonathan Fatality Wendell started out in 1999. At just 18 years old, he would go on to dominate first-person shooter games throughout his career, more specifically the Quake scene, becoming one of the first stars of esports. Fatality retired from esports at the top, having achieved a record number of tournament wins and earnings before turning his attention elsewhere, with a focus on enabling others in esports. Fatality co-founded Ready Up, an interactive event platform that makes it easier to find, follow, and join the action from the vibrant world of esports.
Congratulations to Fatality. He is the second member of the class of 2020 for the Lifetime Achievement in Esports. Woot, woot, woot.
Oh yeah, like the oest of G's. These are the people that belong on this list. Absolutely.
If you look at Fatality, he was one of the first official pros to ever enter the scene. And what I mean by that, y'all, if you're a little too young to understand this, the first to ever have any check written out, right, as far as prizing within esports. How crazy is that, considering now we have multi-million-dollar prize pools erupting across the entire scene?
I mean, it's insane, right? You got to plant the seeds somewhere. I have said the word culture a gazillion times on this broadcast because that's what it's about, right? We're giving out awards for people that continue the culture and celebrate the culture. And so we got to show love to the people that kind of started it. We go from the FGC to FPS right here. Slasher's icon is still the Quake icon, right? And so you got to remember Quake, and this is Fatality. He's he's the original esport guy, right? So, I mean, this is why we're here. Lifetime achievement.
Yeah, so many people that are recognized for their achievements in esports or even currently working on other esports came from the Quake scene. And I think one of the things with a lot of these OGs is they usually tend to be very kind people, passionate about the industry. How much do you think of that when you're looking at someone like Fatality who has this love for esports? Has to do with how much effort you have to put when you are on that ground floor and you're trying to build something for those in the future to enjoy.
It's huge. And, honestly, I think you could be a jerk and win a Lifetime Achievement Award. That's totally fair and but that's not what we have when we talk about Fatality. And honestly, I don't know Daigo, but sure. Like what I notice around esports is that the people that you want to hang out with are the people up on top. And correlation, causation, sure, but like knowing how to act and how to be just a good quality friend and have passion for it, winds up making their way to the top. Real quick, I got a chance to meet Fatality years ago. I was a nobody. It was like 2014, and wound up hanging out in the same circle due to some friends. And like it was 2013. It was even earlier. But he was totally sat down, had a conversation with me. I had all these questions because I had literally discovered esports that year or maybe a little bit beforehand. We talked for hours and just chilled, drank a beer or two. Like I was so surprised later on. I was like, oh, I met this guy like Fatality, and everybody, wait, you that's where you went? You were hanging out with Fatality all night? What? And I was like, oh yeah, he was just so nice. He was just like a regular dude. And I think that's really kind of telling about, these are the people who, like I said with Daigo, are the pillars of our culture, our community. And to see that type of person be there, it's awesome. How important is it? I don't know if it's like a part of winning this award. It just so happens that these people are the types that win these awards. So, column A, column B, but a lot of love for the homie.
You just reminded me of the fact that it's so crazy to look at how much the industry has changed, because now when you go to events pre-quarantine, you have red tape, VIP sections and things like that. Whereas before, like 5 or so years, that was the thing. You could walk into a room and everyone is just there because it was still like somewhat grassroots, right? So it's crazy just to see how far it's come.
Yeah. And you still have that to a certain extent.
Definitely
your talent's going to be in the green room, your players are going to be blah, 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 blah. But like, listen, I make it a point to walk the floor of every show I do. I'm going to watch. If I'm not casting that match, I'm going to go specifically sit in with the crowd. And like, you get a chance to just be a nerd. And I think that's really, there are some business people and there's some people that came from outside, non-endemic that are in now, but we all just want to sit down and nerd out sometimes. And I think that's what I miss about those events. And when they come back, that's what you're going to notice most, is that there are red tapes. There are kind of, velvet ropes, so to speak, but like that connection, that human element is still a part of what we do.
Hey, you'll never catch me trying to shed my nerdy nature.
I know.
Well, guess what, my friends? It is time. The Creative Awards are live. You can go ahead and vote. All you have to do is go to esportsawards.com/vote to cast them. So make sure you do so before it's too late. F. It's another Spotlight show in the books. Thanks for being a pal and hanging out with me. For anyone that wants to do so, where can they find you?
You can find me online. I'm incredibly online. It's at f.ny on Twitter. Same thing on Insta, Facebook, but I never do that. And twitch.tv/fswag. Yeah, one day I'll tie it all together. But Gabriella, it is always fun hanging out with you. Old school friends, doing new school stuff. So thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Of course, anytime. And just like you, a lot of us are locked into the online life right now. And we thank you all for locking in to our 4th Esports Awards Spotlight show. We'll see you very soon. But until then, good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night.
Shine like gold.